Hope you enjoy everyone. Thanks for watching this house gamer. We're on Digimon Fusion Appli Monsters, episode 16. We finally get the truth of what our Applimon was happened, who is Leviathan, and we finally get this. So, and it all answers this question. We find out that who's the voice that's calling to Haru. The voice is actually the voice of his dead grandfather, Haru, Shinkai Damon, basically. He was this inventor. He was a genius scientist. It's all about computers, mathematics. Anyway, and the reason, and he found out, however, there are many things, many secrets in this episode. So I'll get started with the main truth. Haru finds out about his grandfather because his mother recognized the voice from his AppliDrive. She doesn't know about the AppliDrives, but she knows about how the monsters, she knows about, her grandfather being this genius inventor. So basically, he was very smart. This happened years ago. They finally found the truth that he was the one who created Leviathan. Apparently, back in the 1950s, 1956, in New Hampshire, there was this conference about artificial intelligence. He wanted to create his own version of artificial intelligence, and he got inspired by this conference. And so he was a very young genius at the time. However, he didn't know what was going to happen. And, it started off as a pretty good episode. They find out the mystery of who Haru's father is. How Shaman didn't went to sleep because there was no information at all. It's like the information that they had on his grandfather just vanished. Apparently he left a message in the videotape, old school, tape as in cassette tapes, Oh, that's very old school. He left it on the tape so that he wouldn't leave it on the information. So he wouldn't leave it on the information on the internet, so the lions wouldn't manipulate it, so he wouldn't find out his secret. So it's definitely very good. It's definitely very suspicious. However, it seems that he was warning the future that the Leviathan was coming. He was going to make its move. However, he didn't start out by creating Leviathan at all, and we get to learn the truth from apparently he didn't learn the truth from an Applimon called Timemon. He's a super Applimon. He shows them memories of their grandfather's past and what happened all those years ago, and what really happened. Apparently, he created after being inspired by the conference by the people who created and thought up artificial intelligence named John McCarthy and Marvin McKitty. They were the guys who were the founders of artificial intelligence. Basically, they inspired him. He was a very outspoken person. And Haru Shinkai Damon, he screamed a lot. He was very high-end and excitable. He was like the Naruto. He was like the Naruto type, very high-end and excitable. Basically, he's the kind of guy who just rushes in and tries to liven things up, in a very forceful way. Like the kind of guy who just yells out how happy he is all the time, very excited. He created the artificial intelligence, his own merge. It took him decades to do it. But it wasn't Leviathan. He created a program called Minerva. Minerva was a very different one. Unlike Leviathan, which is a serpent and an owl, this one was an owl based after the goddess of wisdom. However, that's how the whole thing started. He was meant to help people, but not make things more difficult for them, not to bend the rules, not to interfere in a way. It was to help people. However, a part of Leviathan then started a different program. This man was allowed to bend the rules and do things in a different way. And this program became Leviathan. Kind of reminds me of the D-Reaper program. You guys watch Digimon Tamers? It reminds me a little bit of the D-Reaper man, a program that went out of control and mutated because it absorbed the data from other Digimon. And because that it became so powerful, they threatened all the Digimon in the digital world and trained and wiped them out. And that's it. If any of you guys ever watched Digimon Tamers, that's a good series. You guys gotta watch that. And it's the third season of Digimon, one of my favorites, and a lot of fans' favorites. It's kind of the same thing. He started off by making a program that was very good, but it went bad for him, kind of like the whole Skynet deal. And this was decades ago. So Leviathan has just been slithering around trying to control people all this time, you know. And back then technology wasn't advanced enough, so it's been sleeping for decades and just watching and waiting for the opportunity to make its move. And that time is now. You know, this was decades ago. Now it's in the future. It's 2046. Technology has become advanced enough. Everything is digital. So it's easier for Leviathan to make its move now. And literally, he makes his move. That means he's gonna do something bad. And this is one of the things I gotta know. Like Haru and his friends, they know about Appli fusion and super Appli realized, but they just found out from time on that there's a new, and that it's an evolution beyond that, which is called ultimate Appmons. Ultimate Appmons are literally the strongest. And in order to do that, they have to become more powerful, but they have to beat Timon, and Timon has the ability to stop time. It's going to be hard for Haru and the others to beat him. Not only that, they get to learn that the 7 code of Abimon, when put together, summons a program, a Applimon called Diantamon. Diantamon has the ability to open the doorway into the deep web, and the deep web is where Leviathan lurks and stays in hiding. However, they can't enter the deep web and without the 7 codes. And you also learned that Minerva was the one who gave them the AppliDrives. So basically, Haru's grandfather knew that things was gonna go bad, but he set this whole thing up in advance, and he left it up to, and now his grandson has to pick up the pieces. And literally, he fixed the potential disaster that he made. I mean, he started out as, from what I saw, he started out as a nice guy. He was a good scientist. He wanted to help people, but things went so wrong for him that he didn't know it was gonna get this bad very fast. He seems like a good guy, a little bit excitable, stuff like that, a little goofy, but nice. Now it's up to the grandson to fix the grandfather's mistake. It's kind of like passing the torch from one legacy to another. And Minerva's still out there. She's just hiding from Leviathan because she knows Leviathan finds her, and then she will be destroyed, and Leviathan will have nothing left to fear. That was a good story. I really liked that episode. We get to learn the origin of Haru's grandfather. We get to learn about artificial elephants. We get to learn so many things. I can't wait to see how this goes. It looks like we're going to get a big episode about Kirina next week. But it doesn't seem that they're going to reach the level of Super Applimon yet. And I wanted to access that. And it looks like Ray is going to help them out as well. He's been watching, so he knows about the information. And it looks like the enemy. It looks like she's going to perform an Appli fusion, which is, Mediamon. She's going to perform or an Appli fusion with Shushimon, which is going to be a big It's going to be a big deal for them. I mean, that's all I gotta say. Hope you enjoyed the Exposure Conspect. Thank you. This is Sellavin. Give a latest review on Digimon Fusion Appli Monsters. I'm out. Peace.